In this video, I'll be talking about the level design I'll be taking into my first playtest session for multiplayer level design. So let's get into it. As you can see from the design, the map is on the smaller side, with each square representing 128 by 128 hammer units. The whole map comes to about 4,352 by 3,328 units in the hammer level editor. The reason for the smaller map was to reduce travel time from the spawn point to the capture point. From my own experience, when playing slower classes like heavy, this tended to be one of the more frustrating points, the time taken to get from spawn to the control point. So my thought behind making a smaller map was, if there's less time spent between traveling to different points, then that's more time spent in combat. Another link to this thought process was the Call of Duty map Shipment. Shipment itself is a really small map. It's a really chaotic map. Main reason being is that players are in constant contact with one another because of the map's small size, and I thought that chaotic little map, that kind of structure, would fit really well with TF2's gameplay. And I did try to stick to the conventions that normal TF2 maps follow. The first being the 3-lane structure. As you can see, there's the main middle lane which houses a control point, as well as these side lanes. So a top lane here, the bottom lane here, which are better for flanking and for smaller skirmishes as well. The other consideration that I took was making the map symmetrical, with the point of symmetry being the control point itself. This ensures that both teams have a equal footing. Then I'll swap over to the hammer view. When designing the map, I did try to take into account all of the class's strengths and weaknesses, as to not deter any characters from not being played on the map. So as previously mentioned, it is a bit on the smaller side. So if we go to one of the spawns, there's 3 doors leading to each of their respective paths, and there's obviously this wall here is to block enemies shooting straight into the point. Prevents like snipers from getting spawn kills and stuff. And then the next thing that most people see out of a spawn is a ramp leading to this platform. Now this platform is a really strong sniping position, as you've got a really good sightline over the control point, as well as a majority of the middle of the map. As well as this, these side corridors have little openings into the main space, and these provide really good sightlines as well, really good sightlines for viewing the map, as well as a small sightline into the control point itself. Now these side corridors, as previously mentioned, are really good for flanking. So classes like Spy and Scout would preferably go through these to try and flank and surprise enemies. And I did realize that snipers from this position would have would be really dominant, especially like when covering this center map. The Spy can like really counter snipers, so as snipers are in this position, probably dominating the map, the Spy can come up through these side lanes and kill them. And obviously scouts, they can, with their increased speed, they can quickly run through and counter any of the other classes or slow them down. Or obviously scouts can just do a mad dash straight to the control point. So the rest of the classes that are slower movement, they can go through these corridors, as they do open up into larger areas for skirmishes, but preferably they'll go straight into this main corridor, into the middle, where most of the combat will be held. The name of the map is Colosseum, mainly because of this open central area surrounded by the corridors, as when I was making it, it reminded me of the open gladiatorial pits in Colosseums, surrounded by obviously the brickwork. So yeah, so hopefully most of the classes will funnel through here, and obviously most of combat will happen here. Final class to cover is engineers. Engineers have a really unique ability with the turrets, and they can really help with like zoning the enemy team and preventing them from going down certain paths. So one really good position for the turrets would be in the crevices here and here. They're hidden, so when an enemy player tries to take over the control point, they'll obviously be surprised by the turrets. And as I previously mentioned with zoning, the turrets can really help with controlling these entrances to the map, to the center, sorry. There's obviously 4 entrance points, 1, 2, 3, and 4. If a turret is placed around them, it will most likely restrict the enemy team's access to that point. So they'll either have to do rush through, or it'll deter them and make them try and go through different points to get to the center. Now, this is my first blockout that I'll be taking into the test session, so hopefully it's received well, and hopefully I can get some feedback to improve upon it. So yeah, this is my first level.